This is another one of those on the porch with Lucy. However, it's a little bit cool out there today, so we're doing this in our living room. And I have Robert Eames here, and we're going to be talking about some rather heavy stuff. But first, introduce yourself and the organization. That's primarily what you're doing today, heading an organization that is designed to keep some of the memories alive of what has happened in Denver over the past 60 years. I know it's been at least 80 years. It's been at least 100 years, because I'm almost 100 myself. The name of the organization, you want to give the name of the organization first.
My name is Robert Eames, and I'm with the Points Historical Redevelopment Corporation. We're a nonprofit organization that's been established down in the Five Points area since 2007. Our main focus at the time was to bring in an organization that would try to keep alive the history and cultural development of Five Points. There was a big movement, and there still is a big movement all the time, for gentrification, to move out the old, so-called, and move in the new. The trouble with that is, when you move out the old, you take away the history of the people that built and cultivated Five Points. So we did our big fight starting off to keep the name Five Points Cultural Historic District down on Five Points, and that's been done. The signs are up, and it's also been established that it's the first and only cultural historic district in the state of Colorado. So that was our main purpose. Now that we've got that done, we want to continue our outreach, and we push to continue the outreach through our website, which is thepointshrc.org. And through that, we send out history and developments and things going on in the Five Points area, because it's a very vibrant community down there. And one of the things about the black community, we find that as we assimilate into this greater society, our history suddenly vanishes. And then we have people running around saying, well, the blacks ain't contributing nothing to the society. Well, we've contributed everything to the society. And we want to make sure that our people understand that, and not only our people, but other people around find out about that too, and understand what the deal is going on here. And that's what our main purpose has been so far.
And so I would like for you to repeat again how people can keep up with what's going on by looking at regularly the website that has been established for the organization. You want to give that website number again?
www.thepointshrc.org.
Okay. So now that you have that, we'll get on with the fact that this is being recorded in 2016. And I think that this recording will probably be a part of the history, not only of Colorado, but of the United States. We have an election coming up next week, first of next week, next Tuesday, and we're not here to tell anybody anything about what they should do, except I would say that whether we have what we consider a vibrant choice, that the fact that for so many years we were not allowed to vote, and that was so important for us to do, that even whether you agree or not, you need to be involved some kind of way. And the interesting thing is, I had dinner with a friend yesterday, and she is starting on her own an organization for the purpose of selecting people or helping to select, or at least put out the names of people who are capable of doing certain things to make this community, I suspect nationally, but certainly in the Denver area, more vibrant and more open and more together. It's not together, and so anyway, the thing that I wanted to talk about was some of the major issues that, not necessarily the political issues, but the ramification of what is being done and how it's going to affect future generations. I read something about Alan Burr, and I don't have all the details. I don't remember all the details, but he ran for president, or he wanted to run for president at one time, but he was so outside of the loop, you would call, that he had to, or he felt he had to leave the area. That was back in the day when all the political control was primarily in the East. He moved all the way to the West, and just to get away from it. And I'm saying, well, now we have nowhere to go. Nobody have anywhere to go. You got to find ways to be united. And who or what? I don't expect any one person to be able to fix everything. They ask each one of them, what will you do about this? What will you do about that? As if one person has all the answers. And I'm saying there should be greater participation. There should be greater opportunities for people to voice their opinions, their needs, their wishes, and what they individually and collectively are willing to do about it.
I agree. One of the things is you're never going to get everybody to go along with one thing. As we see with religion, we can't get everybody to agree on religion. Even the people in the same religion. All Christians don't agree with Christians. All Muslims don't agree with Muslims. All the Jews don't agree with Jews. So we're never going to get all the people together to agree on anything, I don't believe. One of the things we can do, though, is disseminate information to let people have an opportunity to get as much inside information as they can about certain situations. For example, this thing about voting. There's a lot of dissension about who to vote for, although I don't understand that either. But anyway, one of the things that's coming up, this is something I just found out. I haven't filled out my ballot yet. I'm going to get it done this weekend and sent in. So I haven't had a chance to read through all the stuff, but it was brought to my attention that one of the things that's in the Colorado Constitution is about slavery. And the way the wording is in slavery, it's abolished except. Then they give the circumstances when slavery is acceptable. And this is also in the U.S. Constitution. Well, I didn't know that to read that. This is why everybody needs to get out and get the information about this that's going on in there, because we don't know, because the circumstances say that slavery can be used as a form of punishment. Well, who's getting punished? Who determines who's going to be punished and who's not going to be punished? And that means that you can go back to being the slave and when they determine how long you're going to be punished. So these are things that people need to get into and get involved with. This is something that you can do right now. You can go vote. And if you're voting in cities and counties and states, it has more of an impact, I think, than it does on a national level. Now, when we get past the cities and counties and states, as we start influence and information going in there and how we put that out, that will start influence our national government. And this is some of the things that we need to start realizing.
Well, I think that maybe there should be voter education, but I don't believe the politicians would initiate that, and I think it would have to come from the citizens, so that people will understand all as the ramification of these issues that there's so many of. Most folks don't take the time to try to understand them. Now, you're talking about the issue of slavery. Of course, slavery as we know it does not exist in the United States today, but if it's on the books, it could be reenacted or reinitiated, because if it's on the books, it seems to me that someone could use that as a deterrent for keeping people in some kind of bondage,
Exactly.
and or remain as second-class citizens, which is what we are today, or even we might even be third class.
Well, when you get back to it, this is again, it's on the book, so it still exists. Because the wording in the U.S. Constitution is slavery is abolished, so on and so forth, except. See, they throw that. So if there's an except in there, that means it's not gone. It's still here. And it's except as punishment. Okay, now we get down to who's being punished. Who's in the jail more than anybody? Black people. Who's at the bottom of this scale? Black people. So who's getting punished more out here? Black people. So slavery still exists. And this is something that we as a people need to be knowledgeable of and start to read and educate ourselves on. And it's very easy to do it because every year we have this opportunity to vote. At least 2 or 3 times a year, as a matter of fact. So this is a chance for each individual to be able to sit down and comprehend what's going on. It ain't just necessarily about right then the people, because it gets to the people later on. So that's when you start deciding what person do you want in there, who's going to be instituting these punishments.
Yeah. Well, I certainly do thank you for your ideas. I wish we had more time. And this might be something that Points Redevelopment might want to deal with. We are a nonprofit, a non-partisan organization, but there's nothing wrong with giving out information.
Exactly.
And I want to thank you.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.